Hi everyone, it is the Social Club. Statman Dave and Ped join myself, Paul Machin, to talk about the League Cup. The Carabao Cup action kicks off again this week. The hot League Cup action.
Not for us.
No? Did you get knocked out?
No.
Why?
We play next week.
Are you going to use that as some sort of conspiracy theory against Everton?
No, it's a good thing.
Okay.
Because it would have meant either us or Chelsea would have only had 48 hours between games. So someone actually made a wise decision.
No way.
Incredible scenes.
Incredible
Scenes.
All right,
No one criticised these Carabao people for having draws in the middle of the night. Well, one of them's got sense and decided to play us and Southampton because they know that's the big game. Next week, on its own, it needs a bracket round it.
The Mark Hughes derby.
And they put it on the Wednesday, which is really convenient because if they put it on Tuesday, I'm going to see Kylie next Tuesday, right? I'm going to
Why is she singing? Or are you just going to go and...
where are you, Kylie? I should be so lucky.
That's because she's this big. Look.
So
There's
thanks for that.
Kylie Minogue reference to anyone under the age of 18. It's like, what? Boss, good on you. Your decision?
No, clearly not. Sometimes you've just got to drive the car.
Okay, cool. Dave, what do you think about the League Cup?
It's all right. It's nothing special. You know what I mean? Like, there's no mystique in it anymore. Like, the FA Cup's still got a little bit of mystique about it.
Old bastards.
What do you think about the League Cup?
I'd like to win it.
Yeah. I like winning the League Cup. I just don't like being in the League Cup.
Well, I like it, and I think, but I do think.
Is this because, sorry to cut you off. Is this, I remember a world, and again, this is a reference and a half, where I remember moving into a student's house and checking if it had Channel 5. And this is analog days, and it had Channel 5, and I was like, oh my God, it's got Channel 5, because all the other houses had only had the 4 channels, it built it, they could receive.
You just like the casino thing that comes on at 11 o'clock.
Well, this is, back in the day, it was the Red Shoe Diaries, like, because in my head, because I hadn't had Channel 5 for 2 years, I'd built this up to be an entertainment channel on a par with the Sky. And because you just get knocked out in the second round every single season, I think you might have built this up in your head like it's like the FA Cup somehow.
No. I just think that there's a cup there that could be experimented with a little bit because people are I'm not saying bored of it, because essentially one of the top 4 teams seems to win it every year anyway. So I think it's time they just did something a little bit different with it.
It's just been
Put it in the bin,
hasn't it? Well, yeah, but
Well,
it's
I
been
tell you what,
eroded.
you all get off then. You don't come into it then. How about that? Teams who get into Europe don't go in the League Cup then. How about we start there?
That's fair enough. Yeah,
That's a decent job. I think it's been eroded over time, and it's been eroded because the Champions League and European games have taken more precedence, and that's a knock-on effect of English clubs coming back into Europe. Obviously after Heysel, but because every game used to be 2 legs. And then it got withdrawn, and it was like, you remember this? Like,
there will be a day when the games are only 70 minutes.
Honestly,
will be.
But that's the way this competition's going. Because the obvious one is just, for a start, sack the semi-final being over 2 legs. Because it goes in January when the FA Cup starts as well. You've come off the back of the busy festive period, and that's when, I mean, from a Liverpool perspective, I can only speak from that perspective. It does my head in because it ruins your season. Because if you're in the semi-final, and then if you don't win, you've just played 2 games.
Stop getting to the semi-finals then.
Well, no, exactly. That's why I'd rather. But Arsenal were the ones who pioneered the whole. Well, maybe I'm wrong, but I remember it exactly, of playing this next generation. We used to always joke about how, like, you'd be playing the players that you'd be playing in the Premier League in 5 years' time, or if in the Championship or whatever.
They'd eventually get a chance to play for Arsenal in the Masters League.
But yeah,
they played in the League Cup.
But how do we? If we're asked, let's say we're asked, because it's a pot. It's a trophy to be won. We could just say, let's get rid of it. But you'd only get to win the opportunity of winning. If you don't get qualified for Europe, there's only 3 trophies you can win. And let's face it, as much as the Leicester thing skewed this, you're only ever really likely to win the League Cup and the FA Cup if you're the vast majority of teams in English footy.
I think there could be a way where you take the European teams out.
Champions League teams, I'd definitely
or even the Europa League teams as well, and then let them focus on that, because that's when the Europa League starts, that's when the Champions League starts, and that's the problem with the fixtures. Alternatively, you scrap it and you make the FA Cup a season-long thing, and you make the FA Cup a bigger deal. You could add groups into the FA Cup. You could make the FA Cup a little bit more exciting. You could give the big thing with all these trophies that aren't the Premier League and aren't the Champions League, aren't the Europa League is there needs to be an incentive. Win it, you get into the Champions League.
I think what
Win
you're
it, you get into.
I think what you're forgetting though is it's called the League Cup for a reason. It's not sanctioned by the FA as such. Okay, they have to sanction it, but it's not their trophy. So you've got to. It is the league. It is a cash cow to them. It is their big piss up at the end of the season, I suppose, for all the people who work there.
Isn't that outdated then?
No, because at the end of the day, it's probably more relevant for them now because they aren't part of the Premier League. That is their big thing. Yeah. So you've got to think about that, but they've got to think about how they can change it. I think, would they want to get rid of the Champions League teams? I imagine not, because of what that brings them. But I think there is a thing. This might sound stupid, but why not almost do it in one go? Like in the States, of that March Madness, don't they? Where it's like a month-long competition. Why not do something like that? Almost do it in one big hit.
Wow. Imagine trying to explain about that. We finally sorted a winter break and we're just going to play the League Cup.
Indoor.
Oh, yeah.
Indoor. At the GMX.
That's the kind of thing I'm thinking about. Yeah, the NEC. So I think the problem is that, again, it's a knock-on effect because the FA Cup is being devalued. But the FA Cup holds a mystique because it's the purest football cup competition in the world. The fact that you can literally start your own team up, and within 5 years you can get into you can be in the FA Cup, and you could technically, although impossibly, AFC Liverpool were in the qualifying rounds. We Redmen sponsored the kit of a team that was in the FA Cup. Like, I mean, that's how boss the FA Cup is. That's the magic of it. The League Cup doesn't have that. But is there an entitlement that we've got because we're still Premier League teams? There must be. Again, if you're a fan of a Championship or League One or League Two side, do you get that enjoyment out of the League Cup of having those games where you get to pit yourself against the Premier League teams, or is that an arrogance in and of itself? I don't know.
I just say as well, what's boss with the FA Cup? There's a team in Liverpool that got kicked out of it a couple of weeks ago because the player they signed hadn't paid his yellow card fine from his previous club.
Amazing.
That just shows you the level that the FA Cup can go down to, which is amazing.
Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. We got some interesting suggestions in via the Ball Street Twitter, which you can get involved with at Ball Street. Pretty straightforward. Lauren Doherty said, as we've kind of discussed already, get rid of the two-legged semi-final and have just one leg at a neutral ground because two legs is overkill. There's something they could do just to get a bit of, because there's something the FA are getting wrong with the FA Cup. Yeah. Putting the semi-finals at Wembley. Yeah. If you go back to having the league, have it at Villa Park, or at Old Trafford or at the Emirates or something like that.
I'd say, you know what, right, as well, do it fairly. Ellen Road, let's say, and Villa Park. Let's get a couple of really good stadiums at the Championship. Throw some money down there.
Yeah, I mean that fits in with the League Cup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go.
Everyone's
nailed it. So okay, tick that.
But I think I agree with those. They're getting rid of those types of things. But I think it's in that period of the season for the Champions League clubs where they're like, do I really want to commit in this with these players?
Commit to it then. No one's forcing you. Get knocked out early on. Leave it for us boys to
I must admit, the most enjoyment I've had of a League Cup run was 2004, 2005, and we played a team of kids. And it was fascinating watching these young lads all do it, and we scraped through, and they got to the final, and then Benitez went, yeah, thanks very much, lads. See you later. Put all the first teams in, and we got beat by Chelsea.
Susso's doing it in AC Milan, though, and they wouldn't have done that without Rafa Benitez.
Well done. Well done.
Here's a really good one. I like this one. Ira is at I'm Football Mad. Says amalgamate the English and Scottish League Cups into one competition.
You see, that's what I'm talking about.
Have the semi-finals at Hampden and the finals at Wembley.
So what would be really good, you know, like the Interfairs Cup where you used to do Italy or whatever. Imagine if we could get
Anglo-Italian Cup.
The league, the Anglo-Italian. What happens if we could do that? So we're going to approach the German, the Bundesliga, or we approach the Liga and we say, look, right, League Cup. Us lads versus your lads. Yeah. We don't know how we're going to sort this out.
I don't know how we're going to sort this out,
but we'll do it.
We did it in the war. We'll do it through football.
Yeah, I know. I like the English-Scottish thing because that chance we're never going to get Celtic and Rangers in the Premier League as much as we used to in the 90s. We used to all kind of dream about it a bit. I like that. I like that notion that you might get, because that would be exciting for me. Just to even if just throwing a Celtic and a Rangers and an Aberdeen, and the bigger Scottish clubs in there. Of course, it means you've got a load of absolute garbage. Maybe you then have qualifying rounds earlier on or whatever to get rid of some of the bits and pieces. Yeah. But I'd be banked for that. You know, get a Man United Celtic League Cup
Wouldn't
final.
Wouldn't that mean more teams and more rounds?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not. Well, maybe it's maybe apologies to League Two, and you know what I mean. Okay. So, this is slightly more outside the box.
I've just been thinking about this one.
Srinivasan says remove a player every 15 minutes from both teams
I like
in
it.
extra time, then rush goalie
like
is
it.
played.
I like it.
Yeah.
Maybe after about an hour, just every 5 minutes.
That Budweiser advert with the added time multi-ball thing.
That would work, yeah.
Belter of an idea. Zabotology, who's Deadpool, simply says it just add roller skates, and he's gone to the
he's put roller skate. He's got a gif of roller skating. Well done.
Really good. I like that. I think roller skates. I mean, I'm not sure they work on grass.
No,
the roller
the
pitch just opens up.
Yeah, that'd be sad. Steve Hoare, our good friend from Redmen, says make the actual cup look nicer. It's got 3 handles on it, for fuck's sake. Almost not worth winning it as it looks a show. It's asymmetrical.
Gives more people an opportunity to lift it up, though. Makes everyone feel like they're friends.
It's the John Terry Trophy of choice in that regard.
You can sneak in the back, can't you, and get your hand on it. Up you go.
I've done it. Yeah, it's a bit of a crap cup, isn't it, to be fair. Okay. Zach Demos, golden goal, but starts immediately. So the players can run around for 15 minutes and get their deserved rest. Imagine paying 20 quid a ticket or whatever, and the game's finished with the first kick of the game.
Shoot from halfway to go down.
Yeah, absolutely. First to score wins the game. Similarly, says Ashley Bolland. Tom, made by Squash, have all the teams nominate 2 or 3 players and put them all on a circular pitch with the amount of goals for teams. So I'm put in like 15 balls and just leave them for 90 minutes. Least conceded or most goals equals winners. Only if 3 players get tired and the whole competition done in one day.
That's what you want, Pet. That's it.
Yeah, I got the one day thing. I didn't understand any of the rest.
So let's say
it sounded like the Hunger Games.
Yeah, a bit like the Hunger Games. Yeah, no, but this is the kind. Remember when like they did this in wrestling where like Impact TNA had like the round the octagonal ring or whatever to make it a bit different. It was a bit crap, but it was different. It was a bit. It caught your eye.
Yeah.
Round pitch, 32 teams. Each team's got a goal.
Okay. In a cage, so the ball never goes out of play. Right, so the ball.
But there's 15 of them, though.
And the
there's
ball,
15 balls.
Fine, but it never goes out of play either. Right. So in a cage.
How many players do you get? 2?
2 or 3.
Well, you need a keeper, so 3 players, let's say.
Okay.
Who are you picking from Liverpool?
Okay, obviously Alisson.
Yeah.
Because if it comes down to it, I think he could do it. He could do a job.
Yeah.
You know, if he has to get out there. Oh, it's going to have to be like James Milner. And probably like you need someone to score. So probably Salah, but.
Firmino would be better, would he not?
Yeah, Firmino, because you know they're just going to run all day for you. Like you want, it's longevity. It's a war of attrition, isn't it?
Is this the game out of the Nike Scorpion advert?
Yeah, but also schoolyard footy at the same time as well. Like, except that imagine if you weren't playing your own game, you could be involved in almost every game that was going. I think Tom might have it, but let's just check by going through the last couple. I mean, this is a bit more boring from Opeth, who says, how about League Cup winner get a spot in the playoff Europa League?
Oh, behave yourself.
At the minute, you get like first qualifying round, I think,
which is
for the
absolutely
League
rubbish.
Cup,
you know what I mean? You got to go, like Burnley sort of felt, you got to go around the world.
It would be really funny if 2 Champions League spots were available through the league and 1 was available each through winning the cup.
That would be really good.
Imagine
so
the
good.
fume. Like, just you've already got 6 teams who are like killing themselves to get into 4 spots. And more really, because let's be honest, that's technically how the league works. But you know, and then imagine that one season, like Arsenal or Spurs.
Hang on.
Just
that wouldn't make any difference,
Why?
would it? Because who won the FA Cup last year?
I don't know. I don't pay.
Chelsea.
Yeah, and who won the League Cup last year?
Also don't know.
City won it. So how would it make any difference?
Well, the second place in those competitions.
No, you can't. You're not allowed. The FIFA decree. You're not allowed.
The PED's decreed.
No, I'm pretty sure UEFA have said that any team that finishes second in a competition can't.
How did Millwall end up in
That's gone.
Because
That's been
of that
changed.
Well, let's bring it back.
Well, we can't.
Well, we're just talking about a world where we're given the Champions League spots to the cup final.
You can have as much power as you want.
Why can I not give the second place? You nearly threw that on the floor there.
I was doing that with it.
You were about to throw you that down in disgust.
Well, I wasn't about to scrunch it up in one.
Well, exactly.
We're not UEFA. We can make as many plans as one, but we'll never be UEFA. We haven't got any fucking Nazi gold. Why for a start?
Or enough on tap hose. Premier League teams admitted, says Jay. Teams in Championship down to League 2 fighting in knockout competition. Isn't this just the
whatever it's called,
Vans Trophy or whatever it's called? The Vars? No, I do care. The Vars. Concilion says it's now the Carabao Cup. They should release a Carabao onto the pitch every 15 minutes. If a player touches a Carabao, it's a direct free kick. Touch one in the box is the penalty. For animal safety purposes, no Carabao must be hit by the balls or you get booked. Yeah. Definitely outside the box.
I also like the fact that you've used Sven as a GIF.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, right.
Not Gunnar Eriksson, by the way. I trust we're going to put these up on
Sven
screen.
from...
Yeah.
You know which one.
I'm so angry that he's got to put these up on screen.
Or get a can of Carabao Cup.
That's what I was thinking. Like every 5 minutes, everyone's got to do
a
one,
a shot of Carabao. Imagine what the players would be like after 90 minutes. Fucking give me the ball. Give me the ball.
You'd score the winning goal.
Give me the ball.
And people would collapse to the floor, twitching and shaking, just like, oh my God, and everyone in the stands would
Give me the ball.
Oh my God, that would be incredible. Liam Carter says...
And the fans have to take a swig as well, every 5 minutes. Oh my God!
The tempo
Give
of
him the ball! Give him the ball!
You'd have to start it off like the Icelandic clap, and by the end it's like that.
Something broke.
That might be my phone dead. And also the end of the tweets. Apologies if you sent in any more. Thank God. If anyone's working at EE and they get an insurance claim in this week, just pretend you didn't see that. Keep suggestions coming in the comments below if you've enjoyed this. If you want more of this kind of stuff, drop a like on this video.
This is the best stuff.
Why not? Subscribe to Toffee TV, Statman Dave, Mates TV and Redmen TV, and of course the Ball Street YouTube channel. We'll be back with more social stuff right here next Monday. Drink Carabao.